Does filing for Social Security at age 67 or your full retirement age really move the needle versus filing for Social Security at age 70? Hi, I'm Garrett Ray, financial planner here at the Wealth Guardians and the Ray Financial Group.
And I'm Brice Payne, and you've entered The Vault, the Wealth Guardians video series on all things pertaining to retirement planning. In this episode, we're going to do another Joe and Sally client what-if scenario. And in this time, we're going to be talking about Joe and Sally client filing for Social Security at age 67 versus filing at age 70. And we're going to take a look at what impact that has on their nest egg year by year, going all the way up to age 100. Now, you'll notice these like and subscribe buttons down below the screen here. Feel free to click on those if you're so inclined to catch future episodes of The Vault with Garrett, Doug, and myself. And let's go ahead and get started on this. Garrett, why don't you start us off with a rundown of the important details of Joe and Sally client for us?
Absolutely, Brice. We love these Joe and Sally client case studies. Let's get into the basics of the case. So, Joe and Sally, they are married, and they are both the same age. And they made the decision, we're going to retire at age 66. Well, let's break down the Social Security benefits. They know that their full retirement age is age 67, and Joe's benefit when he's 67 will be $1,590 per month, or if he waits until age 70, letting that 8% growth per year work for him, then his age 70 benefit is $2,002 per month. As far as Sally is concerned, her full retirement age benefit comes out to $2,380 per month. And if she lets her benefit grow to age 70, then she would grow to $2,998 per month. Now we have to make some cost of living assumptions here, and we're going to assume a 2% annual cost of living adjustment on their Social Security benefit for the remainder of their retirement. When they enter retirement at age 66, they start with $1,257,000 in investable assets, and we're also going to assume a 5% rate of return on that nest egg throughout retirement. Let's talk a little bit about spending. Well, they know in today's dollars they spend $5,000 per month, but we have to factor in inflation, so we're going to use the 100-year historical average of 3.27% each and every year of their spending, because we know that inflation does grow over time. Now, where do they fall as far as taxes are concerned? Well, currently they fall into the 22% federal tax bracket with an effective tax rate of 13.14%. So let's go through and see what this decision of filing at full retirement age 67 or versus filing for Social Security at age 70 does for them, Brice.
All right, so let's throw up the chart first off, the table of Joe and Sally client filing at age 67. And on this table, we can see in the year 2026, Joe and Sally client are 66 years old, and that first year, their Social Security income is zero. That's what we call a gap year, Garrett. That's
sure is.
The year or years in between when somebody retires and they're no longer receiving a paycheck and when they file for Social Security. A lot of times people think that's the same thing.
Yeah.
I retire at 65, I file for Social Security at 65.
Doesn't have to be that way.
Nope, not at all. And in fact, more often than not, it works to your advantage for that not to be the same thing. So here, Joe and Sally client decided to not file at 65. They could have,
Sure.
but they're going to file at 67, their full retirement age, and that's what we refer to as the FRA. And they go into retirement here, as you can see on the far right side, with $1,257,000. And because they had to lean on their investments that first year before filing for Social Security, their nest egg dropped to $1,253,000. Well, now they've both turned on Social Security in the year 2027 when they're 67, and their combined benefit is $3,970. And we can see now that their spendable assets or their net worth grows from $1,253,000 to $1,282,000.
Alrighty.
Okay, and let's just look ahead there at the year 2035. At age 75, their Social Security has now grown to $4,651 a month, and their nest egg has grown to $1,631,000. All right. Let's now fast forward a whole bunch of years and get us to year 100.
Yeah, what did that decision point do for them?
Well, I'll put up the new chart here. And in the year 2060, when they're both 100 years old, their Social Security is now $7,631 a month. And their nest egg has grown to $2,230,000. Okay, so this was the scenario, Garrett, if they they're both filed for their Social Security at age 67.
All right, 67.
All right.
I'm curious about that 70 number, though.
We're gonna find out the answer to that. So let's now go back to our original graph there, where they retired at 2026 at age 66, and we're going to throw up beside that our new graph, where they also retire at age 66 in the year 2026, but they're not filing for Social Security until age 70. And you can see here that they've now got 4 gap years that they've got to cover themselves. They're leaning on their nest egg for 4 years, not just 1 year. And they still go into retirement with that same $1,257,000. And when they do file for Social Security in the year 2030, and they're both 70 years old, their benefit now is $5,000.
Okay, I like that.
Compared to $4,213. But look at the size of their nest egg in both of those compared. So instead of having $1,407,000, they've only got $1,231,000.
Okay, let's see how this decision plays out.
Let's see how this goes. Let's go ahead and fast forward all the way to year 100 now.
Okay.
I got a lot of papers here I got to shuffle around. And at age 100, if they'd filed at 67, as you can see, they have $2,237,000.
Okay.
But if they delayed their Social Security for a few more years and got that 8% a year compounded annually cost of living adjustment, in the year 2060 at age 100, their benefit is about $100,000 more.
Okay.
It's $2,330,000.
Okay, so my nest egg grew.
Their nest egg grew, but it took a while for it to catch up and surpass.
That was a rocky few gap years there.
It was. So that's why I highlighted the year 2054 there, when they were 94 years old. Because they leaned so heavily on their investments the first couple of years in order to get a larger benefit, their nest egg for a majority of their life was lesser. However, at age 94 is when that scenario paid off for them.
I see.
And instead of having $2,221,000 if they'd filed at age 67 in the year 2054, they now have $2,221,930. So they got a little bit more, and ever all the years after that, it grows beyond. And so it only took about 6 years for them to grow $100,000 more.
Sure.
Now, Garrett and I are not suggesting you do one thing over the other here. That's not the purpose of this video. We know a lot of people out there are winging it and they're guessing. I think it'll make more sense for me to file at this age versus this age. And really the point is that it depends on a lot of different scenarios. It can work out for you, and it more often than not does work out for you to delay your filing. But not everybody can afford to do that.
Right.
But I want you to keep in mind, your Social Security benefit does not grow at 8% a year every year that you don't file for it. It actually grows 1/12 of 8% every month that you don't file for it. So don't think, well, if I didn't file at 67, my next option is 68 or 69. No.
That could be anywhere in between.
You can delay it as long as you feel that you're financially able to delay it. If you feel that you're going to at least live until around age 80, more often than not, it makes sense for you not to file until you need your Social Security. Now, there's always exceptions to this rule, and we would advise you to sit down with a financial planner who is well-versed in the ins and outs of Social Security. Now, we here at the Wealth Guardians are certified with the National Social Security Association, so we feel we're qualified to talk about this subject. We've got many other subjects on Social Security. We'll throw one of those other episodes that we think could be helpful to you right up above there if you want to click on that. Other than that, Garrett, what else do we want to share about Joe and Sally Client in this scenario?
I think that was a good exercise, Brice. It just shows the impact of what your nest egg could grow to based on a decision you make at age 67 or 70.
Yep. It's going to be different for everybody. But again, sit down with a financial planner and see what that difference makes to you so that you're basing your decision on when to file off of real numbers. That's going to wrap it up for this episode of The Vault. Feel free to hit that like and subscribe button you see down below the screen there to catch all future episodes. Remember, financial plans do not create themselves. I'm Brice Payne.
And I'm Garrett Ray.
And this has been The Vault.